Yo, what's up guys? Nandra here and welcome to another video. This video is going to be the part 2 of my intro to building Control Sword, but this game is actually going to be the proof of concept. Sorry, but this video is going to be the proof of concept games, just so that way you know I'm not just like talking out my ass and and so I can actually show you guys that this deck works and that just, you know, it's not just like a bad deck. Alright, so thankfully these first two games are going to be versus Bloodcraft. Now, versus Bloodcraft, it's kind of scary at times, just because as Sword, again, you don't really have good healing tools, or really any healing tools, and so you're going to be reliant on getting off the Saha Lucy that I talked about in the intro to building video. If you haven't seen that, I'll go ahead and leave a link to it down in the description. But you want to try to preserve your HP as much as possible. You also want to go ahead and mulligan accordingly for if you're going first or if you're going second, because yes, the mulligans do in fact change. And then just lastly, you just want to go ahead and realize when exactly it is that they have to kind of like turn the switch from being the defender to being the aggressor, because that will change quite a few times throughout the game. Unless of course it's just like a snowball game and you're just like massively ahead, in which case, you know, you just like stay the aggressor all game. Alright, so this one I'm going first. So going first, you want as aggressive as a hand as you can possibly get, just because the best defense is a good offense. I believe is how the saying goes. And so the hand I have here is amazing. I have a turn 2, a turn 3, and something to do on turn 4 if he evos into me. He plays a goblin, which is good because now I can get to value trade into the goblin. He plays out Tove, but that's fine because I have a Blitz Lancer for it. Here, he goes Lyriel. So this turn I just kind of trade. The reason why I do that is because a lot of times versus Blood, part of why they thrive is that they have a lot of swing card evos, and that is Scarlet Sabrura and BKB. However, if I don't give them a target for that just yet, then I can force them to play off curve, because the only other card that he would have been able to play there would be Alice. However, I'm not expecting him to have that. Additionally, I'm going to try to hold on to the Monica as long as I can, just because the Monica gives me a lot of value and how I get to use it, because there's gonna be certain scenarios in which I can use it and it'll be like really good, and obviously certain scenarios in which I can use it and it'll be bad. Here I go ahead and hold on to my evos as long as possible, just because there are a lot of cards in this deck that like aren't as good without an evo, so I want to try to preserve evos as much as possible. Additionally, because Bloodcraft doesn't run healing right now, any damage he takes is going to stick, and if I can push him down into that 10 range and I have my Albert, then I'll just kill him. So here, when he plays with the Baphomet, I now know he's spawned, so I now know that this game is going to end one way or the other in the next 3 turns. Additionally, when he chooses not to evo here, that's actually a mistake. The reason why that's a mistake is because he needs to put pressure on me. If he doesn't put pressure on me, I'm not going to use any of these evos. If I don't use these evos, he always has to be afraid of, oh, well, and Albert can kill me now. However, if he forces all of my evos and I no longer have an evo for the Albert, well then suddenly, oh, Spawn automatically outraces Albert, which is true because Spawn does 12 damage without an evo, whereas Albert does only 6 without an evo. So here, I go Monica. I go ahead and I Eva the Knight for Monica over the Monica herself. The reason why I do this is because this way I still get a full clear. However, now I possess a 3/1 and a 4/4. This is nice because it's a little bit of a bigger board altogether. He goes Goblin Mage into Baphomet into Goblin. All of this is fine because again, I know what my opponent wants to do next turn. He wants to play Spawn, and I need to do whatever I can to physically stop him from playing that Spawn. So here, thankfully, I top deck the Albert. This is nice because I can go ahead and I can finally evolve my Monica. The reason why I'm going to go ahead and evolve my Monica is because Spawn players are very, very predictable. What I mean when I say that they're very predictable is that if given the chance, they will play Spawn in any situation. It's a habit that you can go ahead and you can exploit from them just because they just think that, okay, well, I played Spawn, this means I automatically win. Well, you can go ahead and abuse that if you go hard and you go ahead and either the turn before they play it or the turn after they play it, you go ahead and you make some very, very aggressive plays. However, you need to make the aggressive plays primarily beforehand, and then if you're playing into the Spawn, you need to make some very, very high level defensive plays. However, here I'm going to bait my opponent a little bit. Now, my opponent doesn't realize that he's already dead, and the reason why he's dead is because we both know for a fact that his last two cards are most likely double Spawn. He could have a cat in a Spawn. However, I think that if he had a cat, he would have already used it already. Additionally, I have a lot of value in my hand, so even if this Gambit doesn't work, and I'm pretty sure it will, he's not gonna be able to deal with a 4/4 and a 3/5, and if either of these two things if either of these two god damn it if either of these two things stick, then he's dead. The reason why he's dead is because I'm going to be going face this turn. I'm going to Evo the Monica. I'm going to use the Monica's effect to go ahead and clear up his 4/1. Go face, drop him to 8, and then the Albert in my hand is 6. And he's most likely not expecting me to have second Albert just because I use my first Evo to do this. Additionally, even if you don't want to use the Evo, you don't have to use the Evo here. I only used it just because I don't know what exactly my opponent pulled. So I'm doing this just to be safe. While I know in my heart of hearts he pulled Spawn, the reason why you go ahead and you clear is just to be safe. He plays the Spawn and he's dead. This game really just came down to me using all of my defensive tools for me getting a really good opening start, because like prior to me taking damage just now, I had only taken 1 damage in the entirety of 8 turns. That's actually crazy, just because like Spawn usually most times you'll usually be on like 5 or 6 HP as most decks, and then they'll play the Spawn and they just know you're dead. However, I have so much anti-aggro in this deck that most times if I steal my stuff early enough and I don't like brick, then I can usually go toe to toe, and I can usually preserve enough of my HP total to be able to live long enough to play some stuff like Roland or Front Guard General and then just win. So this next one is going to be going first, or sorry, is going to be going second. Going second versus Blood, you need to be mulliganing for all of your defensive tools. You cannot play as an aggressor early. You have to play as a defender early. The reason why is because they're on the play, they already have they have automatic initiative over you. Alright, so my opponent skips turn 2 because he mulliganed weirdly. He kept Goblin Leader in his hand because I guess he was expecting to see a 2-drop, but that was incorrect. He should have just hard mulled for a 2-drop just because I think a 2-drop is way more important. And here you get to see one of the fastest concedes ever, because I go ahead and I go hold sold into trade into Goblin, and my opponent just concedes because like he's lost the board and he's never getting it back. Like my opponent just made a really terrible mulligan there because again I don't know what he was thinking, because like spawn players are usually very bad just because a lot of them are like bandwagoners. So this game is going to be versus Shadow. Shadow is an unfavored matchup for Sword. The reason why is because Sword has difficulty regaining a board once they've already lost it, and Shadow excels at making boards. Additionally, they also have a board in a can, and that of Ektar. A late game Ektar is going to be very difficult for you to deal with unless you're on like turn 10 and you can just like Grimnir it. But most times you're not going to be on turn 10, and you're not gonna have the Grimnir. So again, because I was going second, I made sure to keep anti-aggro tools because I need to prevent as much damage as possible. Because if I can do that, then eventually when I get to later stages of the game, my card value is better than his. Now, because he played out the fairy, I now know that he's fast Ektar neutral sword. What that means is that he's running the neutral package with Ektar's top end. However, because he's running the neutral package, that now means that he has Wise Mermans and Goblins in his deck being absolutely ass, because if I prevent myself from taking any damage and I can scale into the later stages of the game, then suddenly his top decks are gonna be a lot shittier than my top decks. So he plays with the Goblin Leader. This is fine. It's annoying, but it's fine because I can go Hold Soul Swing, and the Hold Soul Swing over the Shield of Flame is good for 2 reasons. One, Shield of Flame does 1 more extra damage. 2, even though my goblin even though my knight is going to die to his goblin, most likely in a trade, that will essentially be like a 1 HP ward. That 1 HP can sometimes be the difference between winning and losing a game. Additionally, if you had Lyrils in your deck, that would the whole Soul Swing will have been a lot better, just because a Lyrial top deck would have been a full clear. So here he goes hard. He has a fuck ton of goblins on the board. That's fine, because now what I can do is I can go Hedgehog into Hold Soul Swing, and the reason why you play the Hedgehog first is because you need your Hedgehog to start accumulating buffs as fast as possible. And now I can go ahead and I can Evo the Knight. I Evo the Knight just because if he has Soul Squasher, then now I have a diversified board, and he can't just straight up just like he can't just like blow me out with the Soul Squasher. He'll need to give me an Evo. However, he plays Serb. That's fine. I don't care. He does trade, which is good for me. And here I go Shield of Flame, and I play out the Unica. And here he makes a weird play. I don't agree with this play. So you want to use alright, so whenever you play with Lurching Corpses, you want to make them as annoying as humanly possible for your opponent to clear. So I think that he should have used the Mimi in order to clear off my Unica, so that way I would have had to give him like good value creatures. However, he decides to get greedy with it, and lets me take care of 1 Lurching Corpse for free. He does play the Ektar, but it's only an Ektar for 2. I do finally take damage, that's fine, because because I have so much HP left that like he's nowhere near close to killing me, and because he's neutral shadow, he doesn't acquire shadows as fast as pure shadow, or sorry, as fast as pure mid range. So I'm actually in a really good spot, because again, eventually he's gonna start drawing goblins, whereas I'm gonna start drawing Grimnairs and whatnot. I'm just gonna be in a really good spot. And you can see here, his hand is shit. The last card in his hand is the Coco, and so now he's in top deck mode. He's in top deck mode, but I'm at 17 HP, so there's no way he wins this game. Like, he has to next level top deck me in order to win this game. So he has to have second Ektar into Grimnair into third Ektar or something like that in order to make it back. But that's most likely not happening, because he hasn't drawn any cards. So here I just go Geno, and I just go face. The reason why I go face is because I need to start getting aggressive, and I need to start setting up lethal. He does go Grimnair here. The Grimnair is unfortunate, because now I can die to a Phantom Howl. However, I thankfully top deck the Blitz Lancer, so now I can go ahead and I can set up lethal again, and remember, his card value is so low that he's most likely not going to top deck that second Ektar. If he top decks it, all right, cool, you got me. But if he doesn't, and he most likely won't, then I'm going to win. He plays out Cerberus here and gets very, very greedy by choosing not to clear, and choosing not to clear there is a mistake on multiple levels. Just because even if I only clear the Cerb, he only has 7 damage, not 8. So yeah, so he loses. Again, that game really just came down to I preserved my HP total. I made sure to keep all my spot removal. Now again, because he was supposed to be fast Ektar, I ordinarily what would happen is that like Sword is that they would just like overrun you, and you'd be like half dead. However, the first time he was able to actually touch my face was on turn 7 as an aggro deck. Clearly something's not wrong. And now for the last game, and this game is probably going to be the most exciting out of all 4 of these games. Alright, so versus Dragon, no matter what deck you play, no matter what class you are, it is very, very important that you do whatever possible to deprive Dragon of Evos. When Dragon no longer has Evos, you make a lot of their turns really awkward, just because without an Evo, suddenly their giant beat sticks become giant beat sticks that take up a massive tempo loss and allow you to decide how you want to deal with them. My opponent does skip turn 2. He also did mulligan, so I have to wonder exactly what it was he kept in his hand. I know he at least kept the Sybil in his hand. However, he does go double Blazing Breath. I think he kept the double Blazing Breath because he expected me to be neutral sword. However, joke's on him. I'm not, and this is one of those things that they can get by playing sword right now. Well, specifically if you're playing my version of control sword. Most people are expecting you to be neutral sword just because neutral sword is really popular, so you can go ahead and you can fuck with people's mulligans that way. Sorry. He does have the Sybil, and him having the Sybil puts me into an awkward spot, because most likely when I clear the Sybil, he's going to Fervor. When he goes to Fervor, I have to play out that turn very, very aggressively, just because if I don't, then if he picks up a second Fervor off the first Fervor, he can Fervor again. It's very, very important to play as aggressively as possible when you get the green light to do so, as literally any deck versus Dragon. Additionally, because he went first, he has 1 less Evo now, and most Dragon players don't know how to play without an Evo, so because of this, I can go ahead and abuse this fact, because I still have 3 Evos left. I have a lot of options. However, when he plays up the Tina, I'm like shit. The reason why I'm like shit is because In this expansion, I've managed to attract every single type of meme there is, and one of the biggest memes is Jabberwock Dragon. So Jabberwock Dragon, like, while being really cool, is also super wildly unpredictable, and you never know exactly what's going to happen. And I have actually lost against the deck before. The most notable of which you can actually see on my Twitter, in which I lost to Jabberwock Ward Dragon. Because there are actually two versions of Jabberwock Dragon. There's Jabberwock Ward and there's Jabberwock Storm. The Jabberwock Storm version, you go Jabberwock to pull out Storm units like Zeus and Genesis Dragon, and then the Jabberwock Ward Dragon, you pull out wards. Now the wards you pull out are usually very overstated. On top of that, you can also double buff them with Worm Goddess, or even possibly quadruple buff them to get like gigantic fucking wards that your opponent can't ever deal with. So he does give me his last Evo. Him giving me the last Evo there is actually really nice. It does mean that his Jabberwock next turn is going to be ridiculous. However, this is fine because I'm getting closer and closer to turn 9, and I have this Front Guard General here. Now the Front Guard General is actually super core because I get 2 wards from it. If he is Jabberwock Storm, then I can go ahead and I can survive the onslaught. Or sorry, I can go ahead and survive the initial onslaught, and I can play Roland, and I can try to fish for lethal with maybe like a top deck Albert. He does play Sybil here. However, this is really good for me. The reason why this is good is because the Sybil is not a Bahamut. If he had a Bahamut, I would have been awkward for me to deal with. However, because it's a Sybil, I can play Roland into this. And now when I can play Hero of Antiquity into this, and when the Hero of Antiquity comes out, because he no longer has Evo points left, I've now locked him out of options. The only way they can possibly clear my board conventionally would be Bahamut, but now they can't play Bahamut because if he plays Bahamut, he doesn't have an Evo point left, and the Hero of Antiquity is just there, just chilling. However, I still have to be very wary because I know for a fact he's Jabberwock, and I know he's just setting up for a very good Jabberwock turn. Ideally, I want to try to see Albert in my next 2 cards in order to not be dead. I do go ahead and Evo the Fortress Guard just that way I make his potential playing of Grimnir less desirable. I don't know for sure if these decks play Grimnir. I don't know. However, here he goes in with the Jabberwock turn because I just realizes that like this game is going to end one way or the other in the next 2 turns. He's either going to nut job me with this Jabberwock Dragon, or I'm going to kill him with Albert. However, here he gets a very good series of cards. And now here I see the Albert. However, I cannot kill him this turn. The reason why I can't kill him this turn is because he got multiple wards in order to protect his face. However, I can actually lose this game now because he pulled an Oro. He's going to be able to heal up to 13 because I can set him down to 10 this turn. He's going to be able to heal up to 13. At 13, I can't actually kill him, and if he sees anything good, he can kill me. So I'm going to go ahead and play Roland here. And this is actually why Hero of Antiquity is actually really good, because I can go ahead and trade into his Zeus. My hero won't die. I can make another trade into the Rahab and then go face for 2 with the Unica. And now here, my opponent misplays hard. The reason why this is a misplay is because my opponent needed to trade into this. He needed to trade it into either Roland or he needed to trade into Hero. The reason why he needed to do this is because yes, he does give up 4 damage by doing this. However, he does stay out of Albert range. Now, Albert is a very real card. You saw me hold on to this last Evo. So you should know that, oh, Sword probably has Albert. I should be doing whatever I can to heal out of Albert range. However, he chooses not to, and he doesn't ward, so now Sky Knights assemble. I was super excited that I won this game just because, like, I was really salty / amazed / like bewildered / annoyed that lost to the Jabberwock Ward Dragon the other day. So yeah. That game was a really difficult game. I'm I'm not sure if how many people would have played the exact same way that I did, just because I know for a fact that there's some people out there who would have tried to go for the lethal that same turn on the turn 9 by evoing the Albert and then trying to trade into Zeus and then just like dying. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and leave a like if you did. Go ahead and let me know what you think about Sword in the meta as a class. What possible decks you might like for the deck, or what possible decks you might like for the class, etc. And I'll catch you guys